Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to break down the core message of a website called Christ the Living Truth. We're going to look at the problem it says it can solve, the framework it offers, and the single, powerful answer it gives to one of the biggest questions we all ask.
Wow, okay, so this source, it really just jumps right in, doesn't it? No messing around, it grabs you with this huge, dramatic question. Repeat it 3 times. This really sets the stage for everything that follows. It's the central problem that the entire website is built to solve.
All right, so let's dig into that. First up, how does this material actually diagnose the challenge of finding truth in our world today? It starts by pointing to a specific feeling, a condition that a lot of us might find, well, pretty familiar. And here it is. This is the core problem they identify. You know, that word adrift is really powerful, isn't it? It's like being lost at sea. It's meant to tap into that modern feeling of just being overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there. It suggests we don't just need an answer, we need an anchor to hold on to.
Now, check out how they frame the argument here. In just one sentence, they do 2 things. First, they diagnose the problem, being adrift, and then they immediately pivot to their solution, the ultimate framework. So God's word isn't being presented as just an abstract idea, but as a practical tool for, navigating life.
Okay, so if the problem is being adrift, what we need is an anchor, right? That's the logic here. Now that they've set up the problem, let's look at the actual framework they're offering to give us that stability. So, what exactly is this framework? It's defined as biblical wisdom, and it really highlights 2 key ideas. First, that this wisdom is timeless, so it's supposed to apply whether it was 2,000 years ago or right now, and second, that it's about getting back to God's original intent, the way things were really meant to be. So, what's the payoff? What's supposed to happen if you engage with this framework? Well, according to the text, it's not just some heady intellectual thing. It's meant to lead to 3 very tangible results: clarity, truth, and even freedom. And this is where we really get to the heart of the message. We've seen the problem and the proposed framework. So now, the source points to a single, central figure who they say embodies that entire framework. And what's really crucial here is that the answer has basically been hiding in plain sight this whole time, right there in the name of the website. The argument is that truth isn't just an abstract concept. They identify truth with a specific name: Christ the Living Truth.
Well, that's the big question then, isn't it? If truth isn't a what, but a who, then who exactly is this living truth that their whole philosophy is built around?
And boom, here it is. This is the foundational verse for the entire argument. It's a direct quote from the Bible, the book of John, where Jesus is recorded as saying, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." For this website, this is not a metaphor, it's the absolute bedrock of their message. The idea is that Christ isn't just a guide to the truth, he is the truth.
Okay, so problem, framework, and central figure. We've got the big ideas down, but what does that actually look like in practice? How do you apply all of this? Well, this next part gets right into their mission and how they connect these ideas to the real world.
So their stated mission is basically to be a bridge between these ancient texts and our modern lives. The whole goal is to take what's happening today, all our current issues and everyday topics, and examine them through a biblical lens, to, as they put it, uncover divine instruction. And they actually lay out their methodology as a clear, 3-step process. It's a system designed to go from the general to the specific. You start with a modern problem, you filter it through that established biblical lens, and then you arrive at some kind of applicable wisdom.
So, after laying out this whole philosophy, from the problem all the way to the solution, the message doesn't end with one last argument. Instead, it concludes with an invitation, a direct call to action for the reader.
And here it is, start your journey. That phrasing is pretty deliberate. It suggests that this isn't about just getting a quick answer and being done with it. It's framed as an ongoing process of exploration. So let's just pull back for a second and look at the whole picture. What we've really seen here is that this source isn't just a collection of ideas. It's presenting a complete, self-contained system. It starts with the diagnosed problem, feeling adrift. It offers a framework, biblical wisdom, and it all culminates in that one central answer: Christ is the embodiment of truth. And that leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question, which gets right to the heart of the source's mission. Whether you agree with the framework or not, the challenge it presents is one of translation and application. How do you apply ancient wisdom to decidedly modern problems? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.